Hey everybody, it's Jose Laya. We hope you're doing well. The second quarter of 2025 for the real estate market is in the books. And since the beginning of this year, we've started to do our market updates, focusing on each neighborhood we cover as a single video to allow you to really hone in on the neighborhood of your choice. Whether you currently live there and want to see how the market is doing, or you're considering buying there, we want to be able to put the information in your hands in a quick and easy way. We're also going to look at a lot more data points to be able to give you more details and information as to how the market is doing. We will also give you a breakdown of the sales data, including active listings for sale, closed sales, and we're also going to dive a bit deeper to see what price range most of this activity is taking place in. And we then will wrap things up with our market summary. So today we're looking at single family homes in Coral Gables, which is one of the most sought after and exclusive neighborhoods in all of Miami. We have a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Here's our first graph where we go month by month in the second quarter to give you a breakdown of the numbers. And here we go. Look at the actives, how they increased from 115 to 149 to 200. That's a big jump in the number of actives. However, we will say that we noticed that in each neighborhood that we cover, the active listings went up month over month from April, May to June. We dove a little bit deeper and found out that what happens is that a lot of listings, when they're taken, they're set to expire at the end of the first quarter, which is right around March 31st. So you typically will see April have a lower number of actives, and then in the coming weeks and months, as these properties fell off because they expired, these properties get relisted, and therefore you see that market phenomenon of April, May, and June active listings increase dramatically. That's what we have here. That's what we noted when we dove into the data. And we'll also see that reflected in the next graph as well. However, let's continue with this one. Look at the closed sales. They actually decreased month over month. Months of supply increased a bit. Days on market stayed about the same. Now, you see light numbers in light blue and numbers in black. Numbers in light blue, we like to highlight, those are waterfront homes. So it makes it easier for you to see. In neighborhoods such as Coral Gables, you have waterfront homes versus non-waterfront, and there's a huge disparity in the pricing, which you'll see on this graph, which is why we like to highlight that to show you the difference. Look at even though there's only 2 closed sales in April, look at all the other months. Look at the difference in the median price per square foot on non-waterfront versus waterfront. Look at that, 900 versus 2758. In the other 2 months, that's where it pretty much stands. You have about $900 a square foot for non-waterfront and a little over $1,400 per square foot. That's a big difference in pricing per square foot, which is why we like to separate the two to be able to highlight it and make that data easier for you to see. Look at the median price sold. Dry lots or non-waterfront homes sell for about $2.2 million. Look at the waterfront homes, 5.2 and 7 million on a median price for those homes that sold. So from this graph, we're getting some mixed signals here. The numbers as far as the pricing looks okay. Closed sales slowed down a bit month over month and actives increased. So let's now jump to our next graph where we compare the second quarter numbers to the first quarter to see if we can spot any trends. So here's our next graph. We're comparing first quarter, second quarter numbers, and this is what we're talking about in the previous graph, is that it seemed like the number of active listings increased dramatically, but look at the number from first to second quarter. It was at 178 and it did increase to 200. So much smaller increase, but an increase nonetheless. But you could see now when you look at the macro snapshot, I guess, of the quarter instead of the details, it paints a different picture. So yes, actives are still up though. Closed sales increased dramatically though. Look at that, from 77 in the first quarter to 110 in the second quarter. That's a big increase. Months of supply, about the same. Days on market, about the same. Mixed numbers there. And then look at the median price per square foot. It went from 924 to 909 and 1605 to 1480. Median price sold about actually the same for non-waterfront homes. waterfront homes decreased from 10.5 to 7,025,000. So this one here, we're looking at first quarter versus second quarter. Obviously, the closed sales increased dramatically, but the actives did go up. All other numbers pretty much in line. Let's now jump at our final graph where we take a snapshot of where the market stands today, as well as what price range all this activity is taking place in. Let's take a look. So here's our last graph. It gives us a snapshot of where the market stands today, as well as what price range the activity is taking place in. Let's jump right in. Now, we will say that active listings at 200, that's the highest number of active listings we've seen in the single family housing market in Coral Gables for this year. So in 2025, that's the highest number of listings we've seen. So please take note of that. The breakdown's 171 for non-waterfront homes and only 29 homes listed for sale that are waterfront homes. Total closed sales for the quarter, 110. That's pretty strong. 101 non-waterfront and 9 waterfront. That breaks down to about 6 months of supply for non-waterfront homes and about 10 months of supply for waterfront homes. Just to put that in context, a normal market has anywhere from 6 to 9 months of active supply. 6 to 10, that's pretty much in line. And given the high median prices here, we actually consider that pretty strong. In the next graph or below, where we see the different price ranges, I mean, it's pretty incredible that in every price range we see active listings and closed sales. That just goes to show you the strength and the demand for single family homes in Coral Gables. Look at this. You've got 10 active at under $1 million, but 7 closed, 93 active, 1 million to 3 million, and 65 closed listings out of the 110. 3 to 5 million, look at that, 31 active, 19 closed. I mean, pretty much across the board, up until you get to about $10 million, there's activity in every price range here, which shows, how strong the demand is for single family homes in Coral Gables. One other thing that we'll note on the $10 million plus price range, it's not just that we've seen a slowdown in Coral Gables for single family homes. We've seen this happen in every neighborhood that we cover. The $10 million and the $20 million plus price range is definitely in the midst of a slowdown. While we're on the topic of price ranges, we always like to cover the lowest price closed sale and the highest price closed sale for the quarter. The lowest price closed sale, it was a small 2-bedroom home that closed for right under $500,000. It looks like it sold for land value as the home was in pretty bad shape. The highest price closed sale, which is, if you look at that bottom one, at 20 million plus, there was one closed sale for the quarter. That was a huge estate on Granada Boulevard, on the water, of course. It sold for $23.4 million. So $23 million. It was a 7-bedroom home, sold for about $1,700 a square foot. It was a huge, I think like 12,000 square foot home. Pretty extraordinary. It's one of those estates that you see not trade very often, but it traded 23.4 million, highest price closed sale for the second quarter in Coral Gables. As you can see, we've gone through the numbers. Single family homes in Coral Gables looks pretty strong. Let's now jump into our market summary. Right now, the market for single family homes in Coral Gables, as we indicated, and you can see by the numbers, it's a pretty healthy market. Closed sales are good. Days on market is low, months of supply is in line, pricing seems to be holding, all great signs for sellers in this market. If there's one negative we can take away from the data that we showed you, is that the number of active listings is the highest that it's been all year. As we head into the summer season, which is typically a slower selling season, we just need to see how the market reacts to all this new inventory. For buyers, if you're looking for homes in Coral Gables, the one positive for you is that inventory has increased since April month over month, which is good for you. And again, it's the highest it's been all year. However, please note that the market moves rather fast here. I mean, days on market is barely 50 days and only 74 for waterfront. That's pretty fast, especially given that the median prices are so high here. So you have to understand there are higher levels of inventory, but the market moves rather fast. So if you do find the right home for yourself and your family, make an offer on it right away and just try and negotiate the best price possible. If you're a seller in this market, understand that while homes are selling and the demand seems strong, inventory has increased. And as we head into the summer season, it's typically a slower selling season. We always suggest that it's better to start with a price just a bit under the market when you list your home for sale versus trying to chase the market, especially when you have all this inventory coming online daily and weekly. Also understand the market dynamics. Interest rates still remain high. Buyers are exhausted. And yes, there's a lot of uncertainty in the global economy. So please take note to price your home correctly from the start to help get it sold. We'll also highlight that in this market, buyers will pay a premium for a turnkey condition home, which is why you are seeing these record prices and these record price per square foot, and they're all new construction. Which on the flip side of that, if your home has not been updated in years and it needs to be, understand that if you list it as is, the market will punish you. And you will more than likely, it will be very difficult to sell, and you have to sell it at a price much less than what you think the market will give you. So again, this market will reward you if your home is in turnkey condition. Please take note. Well, that's our second quarter for 2025 market update for single family homes in Coral Gables. I am Jose Laya. I was born and raised right here in Miami. And as I start my 19th year in the real estate business, I can proudly say that our goal in making these videos is to provide you with value and help as many people as we can by sharing real market data to give you a better insight into the local market. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.